I've done a lot of funerals over the years. Funerals of elderly men and young women, funerals of fathers in their prime and teens yet to arrive, funerals of premature infants and 3-year-old little boys, elaborate funerals and simple funerals. Ultimately, most of them end up here. Sometimes the family hangs around for a while, watching the workers cover the grave. Other times they leave right after the service is over. At the end of the day, they all leave because the cemetery is not home. You might return on occasion, birthdays, anniversaries, or graduations that should be. But cemeteries are for visiting. They're not for living. In Jesus' day, there was this group of writings called the Talmud. And the Talmud was basically a compilation of rabbis' thoughts, opinions on Jewish law, ethics, the scriptures. It said what it meant to be a good Jew, what a good follower of God would look like. Well, the Talmud said that if you lived in a cemetery, literally if you just spent one night in a cemetery, or laid on a grave, or with the bodies in one of the tombs, then you were crazy. It was a sign that you had gone mad. Because associating with the dead, living with the dead, was so reprehensible that no sane person would do that. And no sane person would associate with someone who did. Well, one evening, Jesus invited his disciples to row with him across the Sea of Galilee, which is a giant lake in northern Israel. On the eastern side of this lake is an area called the Decapolis, gathering of 10 Greek cities. So you've got this Las Vegas of its day, complete with pagan temples and coliseums for nude athletic events. It's kind of like being raised on the farm, and you finally get to go to the big city with the vices and the lights and the place where Mama told you not to go. Well, you've got these disciples in the boat, and they're going to the Decapolis. Only thing is that when they land on the shore, they land right next to the cemetery. Cemetery, Decapolis, oh my. Now, Mark's gospel tells us that when they land the boat and Jesus gets out, this crazy man comes up to him. A guy who actually lived in the cemetery. He lived in the tombs where the bodies were wrapped in cloth and stored in caves. He ate with the dead. He slept with the dead. He smelled like the dead. Mark says this man was possessed by an evil spirit. The spirit was so powerful that no one could subdue him or control him. Not even chains. He would just tear him apart. And he was into self-mutilation. He would cut himself with stones and cry out in anguish day and night. It was as if he was slowly being destroyed from the inside, and he couldn't do anything about it. He had no power to change. That people had given him up for dead because he was controlled, if you will, by the realm of the dead. But what is so cool about the Bible is that it teaches how the realm of the dead is not all controlling. It's not all powerful. It knows its limitations. And that's why when Jesus, the Lord and giver of life, comes ashore, the evil spirit leads the man to bow at his feet. Jesus tells the evil spirit to come out of the man. The evil spirit, though, shouts at the top of the man's lungs, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" And the Greek here is, "What do you and I have in common, Jesus? What business of this is yours? Mind your own business. This is my show. This is my guy. He's my living dead." And then he asked Jesus to swear. Swear to God that you won't torture me. Swear by yourself, Son of the Most High God, that you'll go easy on me. Now that is a crazy spirit. On one hand, he tells Jesus, "Get out of here." On the other hand, he begs for mercy. So Jesus asked the spirit, "What's your name?" And the spirit replied, "Legion, for we are many." A legion was a Roman gathering of soldiers, about 6,000, and one of them was stationed in one of the cities of the Decapolis. Imagine being controlled by 1,000 voices. Imagine being torn apart by 1,000 wills. Imagine wanting to go in one direction with your life and instead being tugged in 1,000 others. That's legion. That's dead living. Maybe you can relate to that. If you've ever struggled with addictions of any kind, then you know dead living. You know legion. You know what it's like to want to change your behavior or go in a different direction. But these forces, these wills, these voices lead you into self-destructive tombs where you eat with the dead and sleep with the dead and talk with the dead over and over and over. You think you're going crazy. Or maybe everywhere you look, you see dead ends. You see empty tombs. The marriage that was once so alive is now on its last breath. The credit cards that once brought hope are now killing you. The career that offered so much of a future is no more. And that relationship that brought you so much joy is now the bearer of doom and gloom. And you find yourself wrapped up in a tomb of anxiety, of depression, and you wonder if that's the way it's going to be forever. So Jesus encounters this living dead guy in the cemetery, and he shows death, he shows evil, who's who, and he casts out every last one of those evil spirits. And the life change is so dramatic that the people from the town come running. Cemetery guys healed. Some were excited, many were afraid. They asked Jesus to leave town. I mean, this guy was really messed up. And just in a matter of minutes, Jesus totally transforms him. Too much power, too close. But if you're living dead, you welcome that resurrection power. You welcome that Lord and giver of life power. You're thankful that the cemetery is no longer your home. You're excited that you have new clothes, a new outlook, and a new leader. Someone you can trust. His name is Jesus.